On April 2nd, 1994, one of the most notable games of the SNES era was released, Final Fantasy VI. Even 30 years later, it remains one of the greatest RPGs ever made, and considered by many fans the best Final Fantasy game even up to this day. For the longest time I was missing on it for some reason. Only when the recent Pixel Remaster version was released I decided that it's finally time to play this game and find out if it's as good as many people say. I will not be doing a full review, at least not in this video, but instead I want to share one specific moment, one scene in this game that I consider to be an absolute masterpiece. I'm talking of course about opera Maria and Draco. Many of you who played the original version might remember this moment, but I must say that in Pixel Remaster it's simply outstanding. I'll try to keep spoilers to a minimum, but some context is still required. This scene takes place several hours into the game when our party needs to find an airship, and it turns out that the only airship is owned by a gambling vagabond by the name Setzer, who also has a crush on the lead opera singer Maria and plans to kidnap her. Surprisingly, one of our party members, Celis, is a spitting image of Maria, so the party comes up with a plan to use her as a bait to lure Setzer and get aboard his airship. And here is when the opera Maria and Draco starts.
Oh, Maria, oh, Maria, my beloved, do you hear my words whispered in your ear, as if I were by your side?
After the opening segment, Locke decides to check upon Celis, who's preparing for her performance, and after a brief dialogue, it's finally time for one of my favorite musical scenes in the history of video games.
Oh, my
Maria.
I knew you would comfort me, my love.
Insolent rogue, knave of the western hall, you would address my queen to be Maria. Monsieur, you have Maria's hand. I would die before that day comes. Then it's a duel.
Now we learn that an octopus Ultras plans to disrupt the performance. We find him later above the scene and both Locke and Ultras fall down, seemingly breaking the opera's story, but Locke announces that he will be the one to win over Celis and Ultras challenges him to a duel. It is quite interesting how both stories of the opera and the game itself intertwine here, making this sequence not just a filler but a very important part of the story progression. After our inevitable victory, Setzer appears and the game continues. This scene is only a small part of what Final Fantasy VI has to offer, and if you haven't played it before, please do. It's a fantastic piece of art that remains fresh even 30 years later, and one that I recommend for everyone who loves video games. Thank you for watching.